Hello and welcome back to Too Tall to Drive. My name is Will. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that it was chucking it down with rain in Woodstock earlier today, so I wasn't going to film the video. It has now stopped raining, so I'm going to go out and shoot a quick video for you. By the title of the video, it's the Weird and Wonderful, so it's what I think is the Weird and Wonderful, so you might have an F-Type and completely disagree with me, but if you don't have an F-Type, it's probably quite informative, gives you an idea of what to expect. But yeah, let me drive over to my usual spot, set up, and I'll catch up with you then. The first Weird and Wonderful is this noise. Any ideas what this is? Any ideas at all? Thing is, I can get rid of it, put the car in park, foot off the brake. I still know what that noise is. Rev it, it goes. Another rev. Rev again. Okay, well that's the weird and quirky part of owning an F-Type. I am going to get that looked at, don't panic, because I have a road trip planned later this year and we need to work out what that is just in case. But that's the weird part of owning an F-Type. Touchwood. This is the worst noise I've heard owning the car, so I think it's okay, but we've got to look into it a bit further. So that probably wasn't the best way to start the video. It's done that a couple of times, and I've driven away. We've got to like some traffic lights, which are about 50 meters from the house. Stopped, I'm like, okay, if it continues, I'm gonna have to turn around because we're about to go on a 1 hour drive. Rev it. Floor it, disappears. So I'm not sure what it is. Something's rubbing, something's catching maybe. If anyone's had something similar, let me know. I'm praying it's not expensive, but I am still in warranty, so good time maybe for this to happen. But yeah, back at the usual spot. For anyone who recognises, yeah, this is the usual spot. Free car park, easy to film. So I wanted to go through the Weird and Wonderful, or what I think is the Weird and Wonderful. So let's start off with the weird, because we've pretty much started with that noise. So let me show you what else is a bit odd about owning an F-Type. So I think I've summarised this before, and to be honest, I never really noticed this issue until I started meeting up with more car people. And it's the location of the washer fluid right at the back of the car. Now we know Jags aren't necessarily reliable, so, it's making me look really, I know I'm pale, but I really feel like I'm not this pale. Can we do something about that? No, I'm just really pale. Okay, so the washer fluid is there. You put it in there, as you do. There we go. But obviously, that has to run all the way to the front of the car and come through the washers, so rim wipers. So yeah, it just seems it's a bit weird because we know they're not known for the reliability. So why make it so difficult rather than just put it where everyone else puts it here? Just an unusual one. Nonetheless, we'll continue on. So that's one of, or the second weird thing I should say. The third weird thing about the car is the lights. Now I've mentioned this before, but they're just not great. And I actually was hoping that I was going to be able to get them fitted with auto high beam assist. So they're LED lights, so it focuses. They are LEDs, but yeah, they just point at the ground. You can only see such a short distance in front of you. Unless I've got another car in front of me where I can work out where the bend is going because of their lights, it's great. BMW lights are phenomenal, but only if you're driving the BMW. If you're in front of a BMW driver, you're having a headache by the end of the car, by the end of the drive rather. A friend of mine has a BMW M2. He followed me back from Cafe and Machine to Oxford. I had a headache 30 minutes in. I was literally thinking of telling him to F off and overtake because I could not see and my head was killing because the lights were spinning off and I could see further because of his lights than these lights. Just weird thing to struggle on. Continuing with the lights, there was a chance I was going to be able to get auto high beam assist done on these lights, but I needed a camera And to be fair, from quick look, I thought, oh yeah, I've got a camera. That looks like a camera. But it's not, I don't think. Although looking at it closer, it actually could be. Is that a camera? I don't know. Don't know what it is. But anyway, it turns out that might not be the camera I needed to get auto high beam assist, which is a bit frustrating. So I was a little bit gutted about that, because I thought that was going to solve the issues. Is the lights. But anyway, so that's the third weird thing. And I think, as far as I'm off the top of my head, that's the weird stuff, really. There's not anything necessarily that weird other than those things, in my honest opinion anyway. I'm trying to think, looking inside, is there anything that's weird? Being tall does make it a bit difficult, because my seat is so far back that it does tend to rub on the back seat. But I think, you know, my girlfriend is 5'2" and does not have that problem in the slightest. So I think that's just a me issue. The headroom as well isn't great for me, but again, that's a height issue, and something that I've just got used to. Compromised. I had to compromise a lot when buying sports cars in general. This was the least compromisable car for a tall person over 6'7". That was my logic. So let's look at what I would say is the wonderful stuff. And I think the most obvious thing is that. And let's not kid ourselves with this. That noise that these produce is phenomenal. I mean, especially in a world where it's just not a thing anymore, is it? Every car sounds like a Hoover. This sounds incredible. And I appreciate it was before the times of the ULEZ or whatever it's called, particulate filters, but it's phenomenal. I mean, we know it is. Click on the video up here to watch the noise of this. Just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The other thing is how this car looks. Like, I personally, and you might disagree, I think it's one of the best looking cars still on the road for the money. You know, I'm not going to compete with the LaFerrari here, but for the money, I think it's one of the best looking cars. And weirdly, it gets attention more than other cars you'd think. So a couple of months ago, I'll turn the camera around so you can see me. A couple of months ago, which is probably more like a year ago, I went into Oxford with some friends who both had BMW M2s. We parked up in Oxford and I had a weird amount of attention towards the F-Type, mostly from drunken students leaving Oxford University or Oxford Brookes, but a weird amount of attention. I have a video somewhere on my phone of me getting out of the car and everyone just being like, cool car man, great car man, ignoring the M2s that sounded a lot louder because they'd all drilled holes in the bottom. Not quite, but they'd done something like that. So yeah, phenomenal. The attention it gets and the looks, I think is one of the wonderful bits about owning the F-Type. The other bit is when it's parked up and you open everything up, it's a bit different to everyone else. I'm sure you're aware of it, but let me just show you what the bonnet looks like when it's in the right position. I mean, come on. How good does that look compared to every other car? I mean, I should really be taking more photos of the car with it like this. But I know what everyone will presume. If I took a photo like this, the first comment will be like, are you broken down? No. And in fact, I've never broken down in this. Touchwood. I appreciate the noise at the start of the video wasn't confident. But we will work on that, and I'll if you follow me on Instagram, I'll probably let people update on what that noise is. But there she blows with a cover on. So that's another wonderful thing of owning the F-Type. Let's seal this back down, which I always find to be a little bit... I'm too kind to it, but really it needs a bit of a slam. Yeah, there we go. So, bit of an update on the channel, what's going on. So for the rest of the year, well, not huge much planned until June. But once June hits, got some things going on with the car. Now, for those that follow me on Instagram will know I'm homeless in, what day is it today? It's Saturday, so Sunday, Monday, so 5, 6, 7, 8. So in 8 days' time, I will be homeless, which makes it a fun experience. So the Jag is going to go into my parents' garage, all my stuff that I own is going into storage, and I'm going to sofa surf until our new house is ready, which is a great and fun experience. Wow, this lens is heavy and it's going to look really unstable, I think, but hopefully not. So that's the fun bit. But I am looking to make changes to the car before I go on the trip, because there are some stuff that I've always wanted to do and I've just not done. I don't know why, I've just never done them. And the first one is D-chrome. I honestly think a D-chrome would suit it. So I want to, as I've mentioned before, black out the chrome around the window, black out that, black out the silver around there. Obviously do the same on this side, it would look weird potentially if not. Change these to black badges, and I don't have any badges on my car, which I find a bit odd. So I would like to get an F-type badge and potentially the P380 badge there as well, as what it is. So yeah, that's one of the things I want to get done before the June event, whatever that may be. More to come later. And also a massive clean, because it just needs a clean really. Everything could do with a bit of a brush up. Hasn't seen a hose in a while, but it is what it is. Other than that, the weird and wonderful, I think that kind of summarizes it quite quickly. It gives you some pretty cool, wonderful bits, which we know: the exhaust, the looks, the attention it brings in general, mostly from the older generation. But to be fair, once you put your foot down, the younger generation turn around, because everything else sounds like a Hoover these days. MPG wise, I've done a video on that, so click up here if you want to find out what that was all about. But yeah, quick summary: 20 miles per gallon is probably average. And then if you're really cruising it, you're getting like 30s. If you're really flooring it, you're getting 13. Bit of both. I appreciate everyone subscribing, liking and commenting and following on Instagram and all the rest of it. I know I haven't posted much, and I think that's why it's going to take me a while to rebuild sort of the views back up, which is fine. More content planned when the weather gets a bit better. Weather like this is just not fun to film in. Freezing, my hands are getting blue. I look as pale as it is anyway. So yeah, I want to try and film more content. I want to try and film different cars. Still probably around the Jag brand, so I'm going to somehow send an email to Jaguar and ask them nicely. And hopefully meet up with a few other ref types as well, and get their sort of impressions on their cars. Maybe something slightly different, like V8s, 2 litres. Because I've never been around a 2 litre F type. I'd be interested to hear what it sounds like, and sort of get a bit more of an experience for it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate the subscribes, appreciate the likes, all the rest of it. Keep it coming, and I'll see you in the next video.